Hello YouTube, my name is Isabella and today we're going to be discussing my most anticipated releases of 2020, part 2. So let's just get into it. I would like it put on the record now, just to get it out of the way, but I don't go into books knowing too much. You'll see it's a common theme in my book hauls and any of these other anticipated releases. There's just a few key things that I need to hear about a book, or maybe some really good reviews have come through, and then I'm usually convinced that I want to give it a try. If you're looking for an incredibly detailed synopsis, this isn't the one for you. And because publishing is in flux right now, things have been pushed back a lot, I'm not going to be discussing books that are now being pushed back that I've already discussed. I will have a link to part 1, which I think I put out in like December of 2019, but I'm not going to rehash those things. I'm still anticipating them, but I don't want to make this video too long. And editing these videos, as much as I love filming them, editing them is a bitch. So today I'm going to be discussing 2020 releases from July to December, and let's just do it. First book I have on this list is Axiom's End by Lindsay Ellis. I've been looking forward to this for a while because I really like Lindsay. She's a YouTuber. She makes some really great video essays. So when she said she was putting out fiction, I was excited. This is a first contact, like low sci-fi story set in 2007, and it follows a girl who gets kind of forced into being the interpreter for another species. I actually have already read this. I got approved for an arc of it on NetGalley, so I will be having a dedicated video review come out closer to the release date. This is coming out July 21st. I had a lot of fun with it. I really like the cover, and if you're interested, check out my review. The next book I'm really interested in also comes out July 21st, and that is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. This I originally thought was a historical book, which it's not. It is pitched as The Handmaid's Tale meets Salem, with heavy influences of like the puritanical society. It's like a paranormal horror, maybe fantasy blend that just sounds phenomenal. Our main character is biracial. Her father is white, her mother is black, and I believe she spends a lot of her existence just trying to prove that she deserves a spot in the society, because the society is like super rigid and possibly racist, not sure. This has Own Voices representation in here. It sounds really cool. I would also like to read Star Daughter by Shweta Thakrar. This is coming out on August 11th, and this is a young adult fantasy story that follows a main character who is like the daughter of a star. I believe her father is human, her mother is literally a celestial being, and she actually has to like go into the heavens to complete a quest to possibly save her father. And I think the longer that this quest goes on, the like smaller her chances are of her going home. This has been comped to both Roshni Chokshi and Laini Taylor, both who have phenomenal writing styles, and I definitely want to give this one a shot. The next book I would love to read, I didn't know it was coming out at all, and I'm kind of disappointed in myself, but that is The Lost Book of White by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu. This is supposed to be coming out September 1st, I believe, and this is the sequel to The Red Scrolls of Magic. I didn't know this was coming out. I'm a fool. I still like Cassandra Clare books. I don't love them. I believe this takes place after Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy, but I couldn't figure that out for sure in the timeline. The Shadowhunter timeline is a nightmare, and I tried looking it up, but I can read it no problem because I've read all of them pretty much, so whatever. I enjoyed the first one. I actually really liked The Red Scrolls of Magic. I thought it was fun. I liked that it wasn't as high stakes as a lot of the other Shadowhunter books, so yeah, I'm happy for this one to come out. I also want to read Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. This also is coming out September 1st. I believe this was pushed back. It was initially supposed to come out earlier this year, but I am so excited that this is on my radar. I've seen so much early buzz and gushing for this story. It follows a trans Latinx boy whose family isn't supportive of his identity, so he, I think, kind of decides to go rogue. He tries to do this ritual and it goes wrong. He ends up bringing back this like angry ghost boy who is determined never to like go back, and I think there is a romance. This has own voices representation for both the trans and I think the Latinx rep, and it sounds great. This cover again is gorgeous, and I would love to give this one a try. So many people have loved it. The next one I have on here is The Silvered Serpents by Roshni Chokshi. This is the sequel to The Gilded Wolves, a book that I had some complicated feelings on, but I overall really enjoyed it. But I think the way that this book left off, I think it sets up for a really amazing sequel possibly. I think I'm going to really like the setting. I also just loved a lot of the themes that were in here, talking about colonialism, racism, and in a historical setting, which I really appreciated. So I am looking forward to this. I don't know if I'm going to buy it. I might like try it out from the library first, because again, I didn't love the first one, but I am willing to give it a shot. I would love to love a Roshni Chokshi book, and so I'm hoping this one is the one. So many of these books are coming out on the same day. Also coming out September 22nd is Smash It by BookTube's own Francina Simone. I love Francina. I've loved her content for years. She just keeps it real, is brutally honest. She calls everyone out on their garbage, and I love her, and I would love to be able to read a book written by her with her so very clear and strong voice. I think it's going to be phenomenal. This follows a junior in high school. I think that's grade 11. She has had a lot of like kerfuffles or like social gaffes, I think, and so she decides to write like a fuck it list, and she just like joins the school play. She does a bunch of things that she never thought she would, and I believe she starts falling for 2 boys, maybe, I don't know. Young adult contemporary really isn't my thing anymore, but I love Francina. This has own voices representation for a Black MC. I have faith in Francina. I think I'm really going to enjoy it. Her sense of humor is great. Can't wait for it. All right, now we're starting to get into the fantasy, the adult fantasy I've really been anticipating. It's so annoying that a lot of them are coming out in the latter half of the year, but I'll get over it. One adult fantasy that I'm really looking forward to is A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. This is a dark academia tale, and everyone's talking about it, and they've convinced me. I don't think I've read a lot of dark academia stories. The one that sticks out to me is Ninth House, and I hate Ninth House, but I'm willing to give it a shot. I think like the vibes and the atmosphere of a dark academia tale could be phenomenal. The synopsis is a little confusing. I couldn't gauge a lot from it, but it follows an MC with a super deadly power. I think she is also half Indian, but that is not own voices representation, and I'm looking forward to it. It's also weirdly short. I think it's not even over 300 pages, so that should be interesting. One on here that I'm very, very skeptical of, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by Victoria Schwab, V.E. Schwab. This comes out on October 6th, and I am excited for it because it's a book she's been talking about for years, literally, like literal years. I think I marked this as one to read in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. I am anticipating it, but I think I've fallen a bit out of love with V.E. Schwab, which is ironic, I know, because I just realized a lot of my V.E. Schwab is prominently displayed here. I like V.E. Schwab stories a lot, but I haven't read one in a while that has really stuck out to me, and people have pointed out a lot that a lot of her characters tend to be the same from different series. She likes to write very similar archetype of characters, especially her female characters. Addie LaRue could be a change for V.E. Schwab. I don't think she's going to be our typical V.E. Schwab main character, so I am hoping I like it. I'm definitely going to read it and probably like pre-order buy it, but this might be the tipping point for me in Victoria Schwab, which is not something I would have said a few years ago. October 6th has Over the Woodward Wall by, A. Deborah Baker, and just as an FYI, this is another pen name of Seanan McGuire's. an author that I have really liked, but I have only actually read her Every Heart a Doorway series. This one seems magical and somewhat in line with the Every Heart a Doorway series, but it's not related. I actually think it's related to Middle Game, but it follows these two characters, possibly twins, who go over a woodward wall and I think find themselves in a fantasy story. But I think it's really dark and they're trying desperately to get out. The synopsis on Goodreads wasn't very great, but I am willing to give this a shot. I like the cover, really like the author, and I would like to read something outside of the Every Heart a Doorway series. Again, on October 6th is Spoiler Alert by OLIVIA DADE. This is an adult contemporary romance, and a lot of people have been really excited for this story. I believe it features a plus-size main character, and I read the synopsis, which made me a bit leery on it because I think our love interest is a famous man on a TV show, and she writes either fan fiction or like dedicated posts about said show. They like cross paths and he like asks her out for PR, but then he realizes he really wants to possibly continue dating her. So I am willing to give this one a try. I would love to see more fat representation in all books, but also contemporary adult romance. The second to last book on this list is Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. This is coming out on October 13th, and I know I've been talking about covers this whole time, but do you see this cover? Oh my god. This is like one of the prettiest things I've ever seen in my life, and I am a fool. I have not yet read anything by Rebecca Roanhorse, even though she's written in multiple series, multiple age ranges, but I haven't read anything by her yet. But this one also looks so good. This is another one where I couldn't get a full grasp on the actual synopsis, but people have been reading it and absolutely loving it. I love the idea and the setting being in a pre-colonial times anywhere, and I think this is supposed to be rife with magic, and I can't wait. So the final book on this list is the other half of my most anticipated releases. I had two this year, and the first one is coming out in about a week's time, and I'm so excited for it. But my other most anticipated release, coming out November 17th, is The Burning God by R.F. Kuang. We're getting it this year. There was a little skepticism over the fact that we might not be getting it this year, but we are. This is the third and final book in the Poppy War series. I love the series. I adore it. I absolutely loved both books. I've reviewed like in all their spoilery goodness, both of the books. I love this series, and we're gonna get a conclusion, and I'm terrified. I think this book is going to rip out my heart, and I'm happily anticipating the day it does. November 17th can't come soon enough, and normally I would advise against, like, you know, wishing away a year, wishing away time, never a good thing. But this year has been garbage, so I'm wishing it away as much as I want. I want November 17th to come so quickly. I cannot wait for this book, for the conclusion to another beloved series. So that is it. Those are all of my most anticipated releases for 2020, I guess. I genuinely love doing these videos. It's always like nice talking about things that you're looking forward to. Let me know, please, down in the comments below some of your most anticipated releases of 2020, especially ones that I didn't have on this list. I'd love to have more books on my radar. But as always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!